Okay, so we need to discuss a few questions. These are the questions which I gave you last week. So let's talk about the eighth question. Okay, so we have to discuss question number 8. Okay, here it is. In air, the speed of sound s in meters per second is a linear function of the air temperature T in degrees Celsius and is given by. Okay. As soon as we read that it is a linear function, immediately this type of an equation should click our minds, right? Because we know that a linear equation or equation of any straight line is of the form y equals mx plus c. ठीक है? तो this should be certain कि इस type की equation होगी. Okay. Which of the following statements is the best interpretation of the number 331.4 in this context? What is the context? This S is speed of sound and this T is the temperature, and they want us to talk about this figure. ठीक है. अच्छा. Now, agar we think about the graph, if we think about it graphically, so we know that this would be the y-intercept. The slope is 0.6. It is positive, so it would be something of this type. And this number right here would be 331.4, right? This is our x-axis and this is our y-axis. Okay. Now, what is this 331 telling us? Obviously, in our case, it is not x and y. X is the temperature and y is the speed. So let's write it that way. It is temperature and this is the speed. And at this point, at the origin, that is when temperature is 0, the speed is 331. This is what the value 331 is telling us. Okay, so the answer would be A. The speed of sound in meters per second at 0 degrees. Why at 0 degrees? Because it is the y-intercept, and y-intercept basically is the value of temperature, the value of speed when temperature is 0. So did you understand this question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And yes, कुछ questions आपके ठीक थे, कुछ ईशन के गलत थे, since I'll be sharing these recordings with her as well. So I will talk about both the questions, ठीक है? Okay. Let's talk about the 11th question now. Okay, so here's the 11th question. Acha. The volume of right circular cylinder A is 22 cubic centimeters. Okay, okay. Forget about this right circular. Just think of it as volume of a cylinder is 22 centimeter cubes. What is the volume in cubic centimeters? Obviously, volume is in cubes, right? The units of volume are cubic. So we know that already. So some terms are just used to confuse us and nothing else, okay? So what is the volume in cubic centimeters of a right circular cylinder with twice the radius and half the height of cylinder? Okay, let's think of a cylinder. I'll try making one. So this is a cylinder, for example, with height h and radius r, and its volume is 22 centimeter cube. Okay, so how do we find the volume of a cylinder? The formulas are given in exam. So the formula is pi r square h. This is the formula of volume of a cylinder, and that equals 22. This is what we know. Okay, this is what we have been told. The question is, what is the volume of a cylinder with twice radius and half the height of a cylinder is? So let's just try finding the volume of such a cylinder. It would be pi and radius is 2 times the radius of A, so it would be 2r. Whatever the radius is, we have to square that, and the height is half the height of A, right? So this is pi multiplied by 2 square is 4, r square multiplied by h by 2. I can cancel this with 4, and I am getting 2 pi r square h. What is pi r square h? It is 22. So the volume of this new cylinder would be 2 multiplied by 22, which will give us 44. So C would be the answer, right? Is this understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very well done. Acha, let's talk about the 13th question then. Okay. At a restaurant, n cups of tea are made by adding tea bags to hot water. Okay. If t equals n plus 2, forget about rest of the question. This means that tea bags are used for n cups of tea, and the formula is t equals n plus 2. This means that if we are making, let's say, 3 cups of tea, we will need n plus 2, that is 3 plus 2, that is 5 tea bags. If we are making 4 cups of tea, we will need t equals 4 plus 2, that is 6. Acha, so for 3 cups, 5 tea bags are needed, and for 4 cups, 6 tea bags are needed. So the question is, how many additional tea bags are needed to make each additional cup of tea? Okay. This is the formula. We know that whatever number of whatever n we are making, whatever number of cups of tea we are making, the tea bags would be 2 more than that, right? Now think of it this way, that you were initially making 3 cups of tea, and then uh, your plan changed and now you want to make 4 cups of tea. The question is, how many additional tea bags are needed? Initially, you were using 5, and if you are interested in making 4, you will require 6. This means that one additional tea bag would be needed for one additional cup of tea. Although this is the formula, but since you were making tea already, you had these 2 extra tea bags, and now you just want to make another cup. So when you will change a number of cups from 3 to 4, you will just need one more tea bag. So the answer would be B. So did you understand this?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about the 15th question. Okay. Right. So Ellen drives an average of 100 miles each week. Okay, I'm sorry, this is not that visible. Okay, but we will still be able to solve this question. Okay, Ellen drives an average of 100 miles each week. So before reading rest of the question, let's just write our data. So she drives 100 miles per week. Abhi, I did not read rest of the question, but as soon as I read any question, I just want to write down everything instead of keeping things in my mind. Okay. His car can travel, or her car can travel, an average of 25 miles per gallon. Okay. So the car travels 25 miles per gallon. Okay, Ellen would like to reduce his his okay, Ellen would like to reduce his weekly expenditure on gasoline by $5. Okay. So whatever he is spending initially, he just wants to, reduce that by $5. For example, if his weekly expenditure on gasoline was of, let's say, $20, now he wants to spend $15. If it was $16, now he wants to spend $11. Okay. Assuming gasoline costs $4 per gallon, which equation can Ellen use to determine how many fewer average miles he should drive each week? Okay, let's talk about this part. How many fewer average miles he should drive each week means that how many miles, if he reduces those miles, how and miles which are equivalent to $5 saving, right? What is the number of miles basically which will help um, him to reduce his expenditure by $5? Okay, so we will not look at the options initially. Initially, we will try calculating our own figure and then we will compare that with the answers. But just know, in each of these answers, we only have miles. Okay, we just know that he has to save $5, but we need to see how many fewer miles would help him save $5, right? Okay. So he is driving 100 miles per week. His car travels 25 miles per gallon, and the cost is $4 per gallon. Okay. So this means that if Ellen drives 100 miles and his car travels 25 miles per gallon, Ellen needs 100 divided by 25 gallons, that is 4. Okay, so his car covers 25 miles per gallon, and since he's traveling 100 miles, so he needs 4 gallons. Okay, he needs 4 gallons. Okay, and if he needs 4 gallons and the price of 1 gallon is $4, this means that currently at the moment he is spending $4 multiplied by 4 gallons is giving us $16. At the moment, his weekly expenditure is $16 and he wants to reduce this by $5. So minus $5 will give us $11. Okay. Now he only has $11 in his pocket, and we need to see that how many miles would he be able to cover with these $11, right? So we know that 1 gallon is for $4. So if he has $11, 11 divided by 4, this is basically the number of gallons he has multiplied by 25. Okay, so we need his car travels 25 miles per gallon and he has 11 divided by 4 gallons. So I want to see how many miles can he travel. He's able to travel 275 divided by 4, and initially he was traveling 100 miles. Let's see how many miles he has to reduce in order to save these $5. So that would be $100 minus 275 by 4, and this will give you 125 by 4 miles. These are the miles which he has to cut, which he has to reduce just to save those $5. So let's see which equation is giving us this value. So is it A? No, it is not A. A will give us 4 into 95 divided by 25. This is not the answer. If I talk about B, B will give us M equals 20 divided by 25. That certainly is not the answer. The answer is D. It is very obvious that 25 into 5 is 125 divided by 4. Okay. So we calculated our way and we got this equals miles, okay, and this D answer is giving us the same number of miles. So did you understand this question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, are you sure, Zahib? Like, you can tell me honestly if you did, because I personally think that it could be confusing for you guys.
No, I understood it.
Okay, very well done. Let's talk about the 19th question. Okay. So the expression above is equivalent to this. So this is an expression and it is equivalent to this. When we have this word equivalent, it does not mean equal. It means that it is equivalent so we can compare things. Okay. So we can write 2x plus 6 divided by x plus 2 square minus 2 divided by x plus 2. You can write with you can write it this way. This means identity. You can even write equals to. That is also correct. But just know that the two sides are equivalent. They're not equal. There is a difference. Okay. So we have a divided by x plus 2 square. When we are saying two sides are equivalent, we can compare them. Okay. In order to compare these both sides, I need to have both sides same. Okay. Right now they are not same. What is the question? The question is, what is the value of A? In order to find the value of A, I need to make comparisons. And in order to make comparisons, I should have same things. Here I have one fraction. Here I have two fractions. So let's try making these two fractions one fraction. We have x plus 2 whole square. We have x plus 2. So Zahib, what would be the LCM in this case?
X plus 2 bracket square.
Very well done. Excellent. This would be the LCM. Excellent. So this would be 2x plus 6 minus 2 multiplied by x plus 2, and it is equivalent to a by x plus 2 square. Now things look alike. Okay, now our denominators are same. I can directly compare the numerators. Okay, and if I just try expanding numerators, my numerator, I have 2x plus 6 minus 2x minus 4 equals A. Why equals A? Because I'm trying to compare the numerators. Okay. So, yeah. So 2x and 2x would be cancelled and we have 2 equals A. This is the answer. So the answer would be 2. So did you understand this question?
Yes, ma'am.
Very well done. Okay. Now let's talk about some other questions which I planned for today. Are you still able to see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's try doing these. Okay. Figure not drawn to scale. Okay. In the figure above, R is parallel to T. Okay. So this and this, these are two parallel lines. What is the value of x plus y? In order to find the value of x plus y, we have multiple ways. Either we can find the value of x and y separately and then add them, or it could be that we have an expression which has x plus y term and we will just equate that on one side and find the answer and get the answer, right? So we know that this angle is 5x plus 4 degrees. This angle is 5y minus 9 degrees. Sum of angles on a straight line is what's ahead?
180.
Excellent. Very well done. So we know that 180 degree equals 5y minus 9 plus 5x plus 4. 180 equals 5y plus 5x minus 5. I can take this minus 5 to the other side, and this will give me 185 equals 5y plus 5x. I can take 5 common. Why? Because I'm interested in x plus y, and I can just do 185 divided by 5. So 185 divided by 5 is giving us 37. Okay, so this would be the answer. Right, so did you understand this question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Acha, let's talk about the next question. Okay. Now here we have in the figure above, lines L, M, and N are parallel. We have three lines that are parallel. What is the value of x plus y? Okay. So can you think about this question? How to find the
Sure.
value of x plus y? Yes, okay, very good.
Um,
Any idea, any guess, obviously.
well, we can like due to since like the lines are parallel and there is a line intersecting between them, we
Mm-hmm.
can assume that 70 degree plus y
Mm-hmm.
degree is equal to 180 degree. So y will come out to be 130
Okay,
uh
but I will interrupt. Okay, so you were saying that look. There's a confusion. So okay, so you
wait,
are
so
saying
one
yeah.
it's not 130, it's 110.
Okay, and how? So you're saying y is 110?
Because like
Yeah, I got your point.
according
And how are you going to find x?
x mm, I'm not really sure about that.
Okay, obviously that's not an issue. Now I'll tell you. Yes, it is not your fault. Maybe the question is written this way. That is why it is not that understandable. But you need to think of it this way, that we have, just give me a second. Okay. Think about it this way, that this angle actually, since I used cam scanner to scan it, so it is not that obvious. But this angle is 70, okay? This whole angle is 70. And now think about it.
Oh. mm,
Okay. So very good, very well done. You tried. The first approach was also appropriate, but since the question was not like that, this is how the question should have been. Now we have, what do we have? We have y 70 and x, and y is basically this angle, x is this angle, and we are interested in finding out x plus y. So I repeat, one way of doing this could be that we just find y and x and add them up. And another approach could be that you make up a polygon with 5 sides, like this one. Obviously, this angle would be right angle and this angle would be right angle because L and N are parallel. And we know that sum of angles in a polygon is n minus 2 multiplied by 180. Since our n is the number of sides, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. So this will give us 5 minus 2, that is 3 into 180, that is 540. Okay. So sum of angles in this polygon should be 540 degrees. And we know that we have x plus y plus 70 plus 90, because this is a right angle and this is also a right angle, plus 90 is going to give us 540 in total, right? Because that is the sum which we just calculated. And if you simplify this, if you take x plus y on one side and all the other numbers to the other side, you are going to get 290. So this is the answer. So did you understand this question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let's talk about this question now. Okay. Now in the above segment, AB is a diameter. Okay. So AB is the diameter, right? Um, if the length of arc ADB is 8 pi, when they are saying length of arc ADB, they are basically trying to say that length of this arc, which is corresponding to this segment, and obviously this is the biggest chord of the circle, that is the diameter. Okay, they have told us, and this is 8 pi. So what is the length of the radius of the circle? So if AB is diameter, this means that this whole is a circle. And if we talk about the circumference is 2 pi r. But since it is not the circumference, it is half the circumference. So I'll divide it by 2, and that has turned out to be 8 pi. So 2 and 2 would be cancelled, pi and pi would be cancelled, and r equals 8. So this means that this would be the answer. So did you understand this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now let's talk about the next question. Okay. So the next question is, in the figure above, if the line L has a slope of -2. Now this is the line L and its slope is -2. So can I write m equals -2 because m is the slope, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And we are interested in the value of y-intercept. This is the y-intercept. Okay. So there are multiple ways of doing this question. Okay. Now let's talk about this point. If this point has 3 as its x coordinate and 4 as its y coordinate, so I can write this point as 3, 4. Now this is a line L whose slope is -2 and it has this point. I can use these two things to find the equation of a line. So it is y equals mx plus c. Any straight line, any linear equation has this form. I know that y equals m is -2x plus c, and this c is basically my y-intercept. So I need to find this c. In order to find this c, I will use the points 3 and 4. So x is 3 and y is 4. 4 equals minus 2 into 3 plus c, and it is 4 plus 6 equals c, that is 10 equals c. So this would be 10, right? So did you understand this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next, let's talk about the next question. Okay. The function f of x equals x cubed minus x square minus x minus 11 by 4 is graphed in xy plane above. If k is a constant such that the equation f of x equals k has three real solutions, which of the following could be the value of k? Okay. Can you think about this question? We discussed cubic graphs in the last class. Just take 3 minutes and think about it.
All right.
Any idea?
Can't really figure it out.
Okay, that's completely fine. Acha. So, first, I would want you to focus on the graph, okay? The function f of x, this is graphed in xy plane above. Since it is a cubic equation, I told you that graph of any cubic equation would be of this type, right? Okay. And Zahib, if I ask you about the roots, what can you conclude? Like, what do you think about the roots of this cubic equation? And when I say root, what do I mean? I mean the values of x when function is 0, right? This is how we find roots. If we have a quadratic equation, let's say x square plus 2x plus 3, for example, equals 0. So the values of x for this equation are basically the roots. Do you agree?
Yeah.
So just tell me what would be the what are the roots of this equation, the cubic equation?
Um,
Okay, look. So when I say roots, I mean the values of x when function is zero. Okay, when is the function zero? The function is zero. This is the y-axis. On the x-axis, the value of y is zero. So the value of function would be zero. So this is the point where the value of function is zero. This is the value of x where the value of function is zero. So x equals to is a root. When I say root, it means when the values of x when function is zero. Do you agree?
yeah.
Okay. So this was happening when I was talking about y equals zero. Now the question is, if k is a constant such that the equation f of x equals k has three real roots, which of the following could be the values of k? Now k is a number. We have y equals f of x and we have y equals k. Think about these two as two simultaneous equations. And Zahib, we know that the number of intersections basically tell us the number of solutions, right? Do you agree? जितनी intersections होती है, we say that we
Yeah.
will be having utne solutions. Do you agree?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think? Y equals what? Y equals 2 will give you three solutions? No, it will just give you one solution. Y equals minus 2 will give you two solutions? No, it will just give you one solution. Y equals minus 4 will give you two solutions? No, it will just give you one solution. But y equals 3 is basically giving you 1, 2, and 3 intersections. This means that y equals 3 or the value of k equals minus 3. Sorry, y equals minus 3. Or the value of k equals minus 3 is giving you 3 intersections. So I repeat, we have been talking about roots. Always know whenever the question or whenever the examiner asks you about the roots, what they're trying to say is find the value of x when the function is zero. Okay, we are used to this. This time around, we don't have zero, we have k. And we know that the number of solutions basically corresponds to the number of intersection points. Okay, so this certainly means that k would be such that when I make a line at y equals k, we have three intersections. So if I talk about 2, y equals 2 is this line, we only had one intersection. If I talk about 0, y equals 0, I already plotted this line, right? And this is giving me one solution, one intersection. If I talk about minus 2, it would be this line. It is again giving me just one intersection, that means one solution. And if I talk about minus 3, it is giving me 1, 2, and 3 intersections. So that means 3 solutions. Did you understand this question?
Yes, ma'am. Now I understood it.
Okay, very well done. So let's talk about this question. Okay, now this was important for Ishal as well because she does not know about complex numbers. Okay, so which of the following complex numbers is equivalent to this? Now, since we have been talking about complex numbers, and I'd been telling you guys that whenever you have complex number in denominator, forget about what the question is. Just try removing the complex number from the denominator. Okay, so it is 3 minus 5 iota divided by 8 plus 2 iota. Zahib, how do we remove complex number from denominator?
Rationalization
Excellent. By multiplying what?
by multiplying with 8 minus 2 iota over 8 minus 2 iota.
Very well done. 8 minus 2 iota into 8 minus 2 iota. Okay, now in the denominator, we have a plus b into a minus b form. So I know that a plus b into a minus b is a square minus b square. So I can just write it as 8 square minus 2 iota square. And I have 3 minus 5 iota into 8 minus 2 iota. Now this will give me 3 into 8, that is 24 minus 6i minus 40i plus 5 iota into 2 iota. Minus into minus is plus, 5 into 2 is 10, iota into iota is iota square, divided by 8 square is 64, minus 2 square is 4, and iota square is what, Zahir?
Minus 1.
Very well done, very well done. Okay. So we have finally, we have 24. This is a real term because we have 10 iota square. I can write it as 24 minus 10 minus 46 iota divided by 64 plus 4, that is 68. I just need to simplify this and I'll do that here. 24 minus 10 is 14 minus 46i divided by 68. Since all these options have separate real and separate imaginary part, I need to write it this way. 14 by 68 minus 46i by 68. So the answer would be 7 by 34 minus 23 by 34 iota. The answer is C. Okay. So like, did you understand this question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. So let's talk about this question. This time around, I did not, uh, you know, um, do a past paper because some questions are very easy and some of them are difficult. I just wanted to pick up some random questions which I thought were difficult. So isliye I did this like this part. Acha. So let's talk about this question. The two semicircles, okay, in the figure above have centers R and S respectively. If RS is 12, if this length is 12, what is the total length of the darkened curve? Okay, again, by darkened curve, they mean the total length of this black line, जिसके ऊपर I am making pink zigzags. We have to find this total length, and we only know that RS is 12. RS total is 12. Okay, so how do we do that? Okay, now we don't know what this distance is. Let me use a different color. We don't know what, this is not very different. Acha, we don't know what this distance is and what S to this distance is, right? So I can just write down X for this, and this will become 12 minus X, right? Do you agree?
Yeah.
If this length is X, this length would be 12 minus X because the total length is 12. We have been told that. Okay. And I am interested in finding out the total length of the darkened curve, the total length of the pink zigzags I made, or maybe this black curve, just ab nazar aa raha hai jo. Now, in order to do this, we have to realize one thing. Since this is the center, this is the center, this would be the half circumference of the circle. Let's try finding out this length. So the length would be, since it is half circumference, full circumference is 2 pi r, it would be 2 pi r by 2. That is pi and r is x, okay? X. And if I talk about this length, it is half circumference of the other circle. Again, it is half circumference, so 2 pi r by 2. It would be pi r, and r is 12 minus x. I have to add both these in order to find the total length of darkened curve. So we are getting pi x for this length, and we are getting pi 12 minus x. We can't find any of these in options. We have to simplify it. It is pi x plus 12 pi minus pi x. This and this would be cancelled, and the answer is C. So did you understand this question?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Okay. So let's talk about the next question. Okay. This is the 13th question. Now, just give me a second, please. Okay. Oil and gas production in a certain area dropped from 4 million barrels in 2000 to 1.9 million barrels in 2013. I cannot keep all this information in my mind. I need to write this down. So we have 2 years, 2000, and we have 2013. Oil and gas production in a certain area dropped from 4 million, it was 4 million in 2000, and it dropped to 1.9 million. This means that it dropped by 2.1 million over 13 years, right? So this would be the rate. Assuming that oil and gas production decreased at a constant rate, we calculated that, and we will have a minus sign because it decreased. Because if I do final minus initial, 1.9 minus 4, I will get minus 2.1. Which of the following linear functions best model the production in millions of barrels T years after the year 2000? Okay, the question is, which of the following linear functions, all these are linear functions, the power of T is 1, best models the production in millions of barrels T years after the year 2000? Okay, so we have to do this. Now, clearly, we have plus 4, we have plus 4, we have plus 4 in all options, right? That is same. So we don't have to think about this plus 4. We have plus 4 because in 2000 it was 4 million, but we don't have to think about it because it is same in every option. What we need to focus at is first is the sign. It is a decreasing function, okay? After T years, the oil and gas production would decrease, okay? So this would have a negative sign. So clearly A and B cannot be the choices. It is either C or it is D. And what is the rate? The rate is 2.1 divided by 13 or 21 by 130. I can write 2.1 divided by 13 this way. So this would be the answer. So did you understand this question?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Okay. Anything that you would like to ask about all these questions which we have done?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So I will just share my whiteboard because for the other questions I need more space, which I have in my phone. I will stop sharing the screen. Acha, I have shared my whiteboard. So just tell me once you're able to see it.
I can.
Okay. Now this is a question. H of x is minus 2 x minus 3 square plus 50, and the statement is in the xy plane the graph of h of x intersects x-axis at a0 and b0. What is the value of a plus b? What is the question? H of x equals this. This is a quadratic function which is written in this form. In the xy plane, the graph of h of x, if we plot this function, the graph would intersect the x-axis at this point and this point. Obviously, these coordinates are 0 because at the x-axis, the value of y is 0. What is the value of a plus b? So what do? We need to find these a's and this b, and then basically we can just find the sum. So do you know how are we going to solve this question?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me the method.
Since at the x-axis y is equal to 0, so this whole equation will be equal to 0,
Okay.
and we will like
Solve it
um, yeah,
to get the values of x,
yeah.
and
After that, we will just like add them up. The
very
answer
well
I'm
done.
getting is like
Excellent. Okay, so let's do it. Let's do it as well for the sake of practice. So very well done. You are 100% correct. We know that since they're talking about the x-axis, so this should be equal to 0, and I will get x minus 3 square equals minus 50 divided by minus 2, 1 and 25. Finally, x minus 3 equals plus minus 5. I'm getting two equations. This is giving me x equals 8, and this is giving me x equals minus 2. And now when I add this a and b, why are they a and b? Because this would be the point on the x-axis and this would be the point on the x-axis. So 8 minus 2 will give me 6. So the answer is 6. Okay, so we had four options. A was minus 10, B was minus 6, C was 6, and D was 10. So the answer would be C. Did you understand? Are you getting the same value?
I'm getting C. Yeah.
Okay, very well done. Excellent. So this is how we do such questions. Okay. Let's talk about another question. So this time the statement is, what is the set of all solutions to equations under root x plus 2 equals minus x? And the options are okay. What is the set of all solutions to the equation? Okay, this question would be easy. I wouldn't say this is a difficult question, but the important thing is that whenever you solve any equation, whatever answers you are getting, put them back and then check if your answer is correct or not, right? So this is under root x plus 2 equals minus x. We need to find the set of solutions. When we say solutions, we have to find the value of x. In order to find the value of x, we have to separate x on one side. First thing is to get rid of this under root. In order to get rid of this under root, we have to square the sides. This will give me x plus 2 equals minus x into minus x is x square. I'll take all this to the other side and I will get 0 equals x square minus x minus 2, and I can write it as x square minus x minus 2 equals 0. Now Zahib, tell me, what would be the factors? Two numbers such that when we multiply them we get minus 2x square, and when we add them we get minus 1x. So the two factors could be the two numbers could be minus 2x and plus x square minus 2x plus x minus 2 equals 0, right? Because when I will multiply them, I will get minus 2x square. When I add them, I get minus x. I can take x common. I can take 1 common equals 0, and I am getting x plus 1 as one factor and x minus 2 as the other factor. And finally, I'm getting x equals minus 1 and x equals 2. And this had a minus sign. Okay. Now again, we got this, but we are not going to quickly say that A is the answer. No. First, let's check minus 1 and 2 in this, okay? Let's check for x equals minus 1. We have under root x plus 2 under root minus 1 plus 2 equals minus x. So this is going to give me 1 equals 1. Yes, for minus 1 it is good. Let's check it for 2. So we have under root 2 plus 2 equals minus 2. This is giving me 2 and this is giving me minus 2, and they are not equal. This means that minus 1 is the only solution. So the answer is B. Right? Did you understand this?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Okay. And let's talk about another question. So if f of x is 7 minus 4x and f g of x is minus 1 for all values of x, then g of x equals what? Okay. F of x is 7 minus 4x and f of g of x is minus 1. for all values of x, then do you know composite functions?
Uh,
Okay,
Wait, yeah,
okay,
I guess.
that's okay. So look, so this is something. Okay, what do we understand by this? We know that if f of x is 7 minus 4x, f of g of x would be 7 minus 4g of x. Do you agree?
Yeah,
Okay. And we have been told that this equals minus 1. So 7 minus 4, g of x equals minus 1. I can take this 7 to the other side. I will have minus 4, g of x equals minus 1 minus 7. G of x equals minus 8 divided by minus 4. And I am getting 2 as my answer. So, like, did you understand this question?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Okay, so let's do another question. We have a graph. This is y and this is x, and the graph is of this type. You have been told that this value is 3, 1. Then this is 5. This point is 2, 5. And then this point is 4, 5. And this is the curve of y equals f of x. Now the question is, the graph of function f in xy plane above is a parabola which of the following defines f. So A is f of x equals 4 into x minus 3 square plus 1. E is f of x equals 4 x minus 3 square x plus 3 square plus 1. C is f of x minus 3 square plus 1. And D is f of x 3 x plus 3 square plus 1. Okay. So the graph of the function f in xy plane above is a parabola. Okay, this is a parabola, and we know that this point is 3, 1. Which of the following defines f? Now you need to understand one thing, and that thing is सबसे पहले तो Let's talk about the basic shape. This is y equals x square, and we know that whenever we subtract something from x, our graph moves to the right side. This means that something would be subtracted from x, right? So it would be x minus 3 square, because the x coordinate of this point is 3, and it would be plus 1 because this point is first moving to 3 units right and then 1 unit above. Okay, and that means that we will be basically having plus 1. Do you agree, Zahir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this will give us, acha, abhi we just know this much, okay? If this is the case, so B cannot be the answer and D cannot be the answer because we are not adding anything. Okay. Everything is same in A and C except this 4 and 1. How are we going to determine this? So we have more information as well. We know that this is a point 0.25. We can use this 0.25. The value of f of x is 5 and the value of x is 2. Let's see if we get 5 for this. 2 minus 3 square plus 1. We have 5 equals 4 into minus 1 square plus 1. And this is giving us 5 equals 5. So the answer would be A. Did you understand this? Otherwise, if we check
Yes.
out for C option, let's try for C as well. So we have f of x equals x minus 3 square plus 1. Let's use this 0.25. So function is 5 and x minus 3 would be minus 1 square plus 1. This is giving us 5, not equal to 2, right? So this is why A is the answer. Did you understand this?
Yes, ma'am.
Anything that you did not understand today? Any questions? Anything?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so everything is clear. Any other thing which you would like to ask other than these questions about SAT?